The U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Division will likely lead the investigation now into this mass shooting at Fort Stewart. And tonight, we're gaining insight into how that division actually operates. Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie talked to a local sheriff who was once the ranking non-commissioned officer over 4 Army Reserve CID battalions. Mark?
Yeah, Cobb County Sheriff Craig Owen says he served as an MP for about 8 years, but as a command sergeant major, he had a critical role in Army CID, which has primary jurisdiction in the Fort Stewart incident. He was one of 2 experienced men we talked to about how CID works.
Does the U.S. Army CID receive specialized training in how to deal with active shooter situations?
Yes, they do. And I mean, they have extensive training in that.
A CID agent will receive top-tier training that the Army has to offer for them. They are the cream of the crop for investigative capabilities. So they would not only attend an active shooter familiarization, but also in methods to investigate those crimes.
Cobb County Sheriff Craig Owen says before he wore the sheriff's star, he wore the chevrons of a U.S. Army Command Sergeant Major as the ranking NCO over 4 Army Reserve battalions of U.S. Army CID, Criminal Investigation Division. And he says primary jurisdiction to investigate the Fort Stewart shooting of 5 soldiers, allegedly by an Army sergeant, belongs to Army CID.
They're very good, highly trained individuals. A lot of them are specialists in their particular craft within the CID.
The sheriff says now retired Army Colonel Cullen Wright, who led those 4 CID battalions, is one of the best commanders with whom he ever served.
CID, along with their other federal partners, has tremendous reach to be able to look and put parts of the puzzle together to hopefully figure out if there were warning signals and what they were, things to watch in the future, just lessons learned in general. They'll also look to see if there is an additional threat that could be present with this, because that's a very immediate concern if this is part of a series or a group, which I don't hear anything today that leads me to believe that. But they do have a lot of cyber and investigative.
Sheriff Owen says Army CID will lead the investigation into the Fort Stewart shooting unless it elects to turn it over to the FBI. An FBI statement says FBI's Atlanta Savannah office is aware of the incident at Fort Stewart and is coordinating with Army Criminal Investigation Division for any assistance that might be needed.
A lead CID agent would be assigned to this, and in some cases, and each case differs, but you could have FBI involvement also that co-investigates along with that CID lead investigative officer.
It was heart-wrenching for me to see this happening on a U.S. military base.
Colonel Wright says much of the Fort Stewart physical evidence may wind up at the Defense Forensic Science Center at the former Fort Gillem here in Metro Atlanta.
It is an amazing facility with brilliant people there that are very, very good at what they do.
Now, Colonel Wright says there will be hours and hours processing the crime scene, doing trajectory analysis of any rounds that were fired, blood spatter analysis, and looking at any projectiles or shell casings. He says there will be witness statements, searching social media, and looking at any security cameras near the incident, and a lot more. Reporting live in Cobb County, Mark Winnie, Channel 2 Action News.